Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Super7 ReAction Figures line of Godzilla figures. Now, in this line of figures, we have Godzilla 1954, Godzilla 1957, which I think is very interesting, they included that, Mothra 64, Rodan 65, Jet Jaguar 73, and Mechagodzilla 74. Now, of course, I like, for the most part, I like all the movies that these guys come from. I like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. I like Ghidorah the Three-Headed Dragon. I really like Mothra vs. Godzilla. Not a big fan of Godzilla vs. Megalon, but the original 54 film is my second favorite movie of all time. And I don't really have an opinion on the 1957 film, because this actually comes from a, canceled concept where they were going to make an American version of Godzilla Raids Again, and they were going to use, a completely different suit. And this is based off of the suit that they were going to use, and I think that's really cool that they actually, made that into a figure. So, yeah. Anyway, what this line of figures is, the company Super7, they have a line of action figures called the Reflection figure line. And basically what it is, it's figures stylized after the old, Kenner Star Wars figures. So they've done the Iron Giant, they've done Alien. I'm pretty sure they've done Jaws in the past. So yeah, I am a huge fan of the Kenner Jurassic Park toy line. So the fact that we have Godzilla figures stylized after old Kenner figures, I think that's really cool. Originally I wasn't gonna get these figures because I don't know, I just thought they were a little too expensive. But sure enough, I was walking around FYE one day, and they had Godzilla 57 there, so I picked him up. And then they also had Mechagodzilla, I picked him up too. And then, I don't know why, I was just inspired to order the rest of the line online. So, yeah, and here we are. And, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say, so let's just get right into this. Of course, to start this review, we'll take a look at the paint. And the painting on these figures look very nice. Everything here is very consistent. Of course, the colors here, it's what you'd expect. Godzilla's is charcoal gray. Jet Jaguar has all of his reds and yellows and blues where they're supposed to be. The Mothra colors, the Rodan color. It's basically the colors you would expect. I guess for Rodan, you could say that, his beak, his, the horns on the back of his head and, his nails, and even, the spikes on his stomach, you could say should be, a different color. So I think that was, Super 7 taking artistic liberties, but overall, the painting on these guys look very nice, very consistent. It is kind of a shame how they only painted the inside of Godzilla's dorsal plates and not the outside, but that is a very minor nitpick. One thing I'll say about Mechagodzilla is that I wish he was painted in a metallic silver like how Jet Jaguar was. And on mine there seems to be a little bit of yellow paint on the snout, which is unfortunate. But other than that though, the painting on this line is very nice and does a great job of capturing that, Kenner feel. So, yeah, painting on these figures, I'd say gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the articulation, and for the most part, the articulation on these figures is the same. So, swivel at the head, swivels at the shoulders. Though I don't recommend doing this, because at least for Godzilla here, it does kind of rub against the side of his body here, so don't do that. But anyway, the legs can't move 360. Don't force it. Same with this leg. And there's a little bit of rotation at the tail here. So, yeah. The only difference between this guy and Mechagodzilla is that Mechagodzilla actually doesn't have tail articulation. And, well, Jet Jaguar doesn't have a tail, so yeah, there you go. Rodan is the same articulation at the head and at the legs here. The only difference is that there are no swivels at the wings here, but instead they flap, like so. So there you go there. And for Mothra, all she has are some points of articulation in the wings and a swivel in the head. Not a whole lot going on with Mothra, but the unique thing about Mothra is that she actually does come with an accessory. She comes with a Mothra egg, so yeah. I do think that is pretty cool, so then we just get them focused there. And that's pretty much it for the articulation on this set. And overall, it's fine. it's about on par with a Bandai vinyl, so there's not a whole lot going on here, but then again, a lot of old Kenner action figures didn't really have a whole lot of articulation anyway, so yeah, the lack of articulation, I think, is more than fine. So the articulation here, I'd say is pretty good, so it gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the sculpting, and the sculpting on these figures, I think, look very nice. They do a great job of capturing the likeness of, the characters they're supposed to represent, while also doing a good job of representing the old Kenner style of like the old Kenner Star Wars figures. So, yeah, the sculpting here I think looks really good. If I do have one critique, just one minor nitpick, I wish the Godzillas had longer tails. But other than that, though, yeah, the sculpting on these guys look great. So the sculpting here, I'd say, gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing on these figures, and the detailing here, it's interesting, because there's not a whole lot of detailing here. I mean, Godzilla definitely has scales, and there's definitely a lot of mechanical detailing for Mechagodzilla, but it's not, like, very well defined, but I think that's kind of the point, because what I think they're trying to do with these line of figures, they're trying to go with a more, like, cartoonish style, because that was the thing with, like, the old, like, Kenner figures, because, like, they weren't super realistic, like their Jurassic Park figures, like their dinosaurs for the most part looked very good, but like they still had like a like comic bookish, like cartoonish looking like style to them, and I think that's what they were going for here, and I think it looks really nice because, like I said, there's still some detailing here. Godzilla still has a lot of scaling. Mechagodzilla has a lot of mechanical detailing. The detailing for Mothra, Rodan, Jet Jaguar, everything here is detailed very nicely. But it's like, it's minimalistic here because like they're trying to make these figures look more cartoonish, and yeah, I do like that because that was the charm. Like I said, that was the charm of like the old like Kenner figures. So yeah, the detailing here, there's not a lot, but I think that's the point, and I think that the lack of detailing here works in this figure's or the line of this figure's favor. So the detailing here, I'd say, gets a pass. Now we'll do some size comparisons. Here we have the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2002. The reason why I chose to use this guy as a size comparison is because the design for this figure is based on the original design for Godzilla 2000. So we have two designs of Godzilla that were meant to be in movies, but ended up not being in movies. So I think these two will work very nicely with each other. Here we have the Trendmasters Godzilla. This is the 4-inch one. And of course, because these figures are trying to be styled after the Kenner Star Wars figures, here we have the Kenner Dr. Alan Grant. And of course, here we have Dr. Billy Grant and Alan Grant, and some hand sanitizer. So at the end of the day, should you get these figures? Right off the bat, I just want to say, I do not like the price tag here. Each figure is $18 a pop, and I'm sorry, I think that is ridiculous. I think, like, at most, like, each figure should be, like, $8 to $10, maybe 12. But 18, I'm sorry, that's way too much. But with that said, however, I do think that these are very nice figures. I think the quality here is very nice. Again, my Mechagodzilla has a little bit of a paint defect on the snout, but other than that, though, the paint quality is very nice. The sculpting here, very nice. And I just love that, like, Kenner charm these figures have. Because that's the whole point of this line. It's just like, figures that are supposed to be styled after the old, like, Kenner Star Wars figures. And I think that's really cool. So, overall, I do think that these figures look very nice. And, yes, I do recommend them. It's just the price tag I'm not a big fan of. I would like to see them do more, however, in the future. I definitely would like to see a Showa Anguirus. I'd love to see Titanosaurus. We have Jet Jaguars, so a Megalon would be reasonable. Gigan would be cool to see. And even like a Showa King Ghidorah. Honestly, I just want to see them like keep going because like despite the price tag, these figures are very nice. And that's another thing I want to say. Like each figure, like you can buy individually. You don't have to buy like all the figures at once. If you just wanted the Godzilla 1957, then just get the Godzilla 1957. If you just wanted the Mechagodzilla, then just get the Mechagodzilla. So, yeah, I think that is really cool. If I did have to pick one figure in this set, however, I would have to go with Godzilla 1957, solely because of the idea that it's a figure based on a, canceled Godzilla movie. So, yeah, I think that is really cool. So overall, yeah, I do like these figures. The price tag is a bit too high, but like I said, these figures are very nice, and I do recommend you getting these figures. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.